Hi everyone, this is Simon from Go Wireless, and today we're going to take you through a full tutorial of how to add the GWN networking line of products into GWN.Cloud. The GWN series is a line of products from Grandstream from routers, which we've got the 7062 and the 7052. We've got switches from 8-port, 16 and 24-port configurations, both with and without PoE. And access points, there is a full series of Wi-Fi AC Wave 2 and Wi-Fi 6, indoor and outdoor. To begin our tutorial, we're first going to log into our GWN 7052 router to make a few changes. Now the reason we need to do this is because New Zealand Fibre is delivered via two different methods. The first is PPPoE authentication with the VLAN 10 tag, and the second is DHCP VLAN 10 as well. Now it would be worth first checking with your ISP what setting they deliver your fibre with, so that when you log into the router, obviously you have the right settings to add in. So we're going to log into the device and show you how to configure those settings for the device to then pull the internet and reach GWN.Cloud. So we're now going to log into the router and demonstrate how to apply those changes. Now in my lab here, we're actually not using that for the internet, but we'll log in just so that you're ready and prepared when you receive your router for it to connect to the internet and reach out to GWN.Cloud. Right, so to now log into the router, we can see that I have connected my Ethernet of my laptop into one of the LAN ports. It doesn't matter which one, but I've connected into a LAN port. We're now going to go into my browser here, and we are going to type in the router's IP address into our address field. So for Grandstream routers, this is 192.168.80.1. We hit enter here. We can then see in Chrome, we get a your connection is not private alert. We can just hit the advanced and proceed anyway. We're now presented with the router's home screen. So for here, the password is unique on each individual router. This isn't the same across all. So to get this, we just need to look at the bottom of our router, and you'll see that you'll have a Wi-Fi password. This is the password we are going to type in. So as we can see, I will type mine in here. Voila. We are now given the option to type in a new password. This is obviously going to increase the security, so I will just type in a new password here and hit save. We can now see that we have the quick internet configuration and the skip option. For us, we will hit skip. We'll then proceed over to the left-hand screen, network settings, WAN for wide area network or internet. Now the two different options we have are DHCP with VLAN 10 and PPPoE with VLAN 10, as I mentioned before. So the first one we'll demonstrate is how to configure DHCP with VLAN 10. And that's quite simple. All we need to do is scroll down here to the VLAN tag option, turn it on and type in VLAN 10. We then hit save, and it has now applied that change. Now for PPPoE with VLAN 10, all we need to do is choose connection type, internet access with PPPoE account. Now some providers do have unique account and passwords. So again, always worth reaching out to your provider for their settings. One example is Spark in New Zealand, Spark New Zealand. They just use a generic account. So we can type in user@Spark and password being password. And again, from the last setting, if it's not already checked, just make sure that VLAN tag is on and VLAN 10 is in the ID field. We hit save. We can now connect our WAN port on our router to the ONT or the fiber box that was installed by our provider, and we should get internet access. Now off screen, we have already gone ahead and connected all our GWN devices together. In this tutorial, we're going to be using a 7052 router, a 7801P switch, and we have a 7660 access point. Now all we need to do to add these to cloud is first navigate to GWN.Cloud, and this is the portal where we're going to add all our devices. Now GWN.Cloud is a free management platform that allows you to do multi-site management of the GWN series of devices. Multi-site meaning that I could be an installer and I could have multiple customers, each with their own devices and settings, and this is all easily manageable and free through this website. To begin, we'd first need to set up an account. Now, I already have an account, but we'll quickly step you through the process to show you. So first thing we'll do is down the bottom here, don't have an account, we're going to go sign up. Time zone, we're going to choose world or the EU region. The main difference there is the EU region is for GDPR compliance. So because we're not in the EU, we can just choose world. Now email, obviously we're going to type in the email address we'd like to use. We'll just use test@testemail.com. Now the login name can be whatever you like. I'm going to write test GWN user. Password, obviously make this nice and secure. I'm going to use password 123. Country is obviously New Zealand. It's picked that up from my device settings and Auckland, Wellington. So if this is already not there, we're going to type that in. And then all we need to do is type in the verification code and hit sign up. We will then get an email through to confirm this. So what I'm going to do off screen is I'm going to log into my account and then we'll proceed with the tutorial. Great, now we can see that we have logged into my GWN.Cloud account. Now we're not going to go through all the individual settings that are possible through GWN.Cloud. We obviously want to keep this video nice and short today. Actually, Grandstream does have a fantastic video on their YouTube channel taking you through step by step all the settings and options that they've got here. So I'd highly recommend watching their video on the Grandstream Network's YouTube channel if you do get a chance. So firstly, to add the devices, we need to decide what site we are going to add them to. Now, as mentioned before, a site could just be a customer network, or it could be a physical location. It is entirely up to you. So if we go to our site option here at the top and we click on it, we can see that I have a couple of sites. My home site, which has my home router, the default site, which is always present when you first create a GWN.Cloud network, and another site that I've created, Go Wireless HQ. So we're going to use that today in our tutorial. We can now see that the network has changed to Go Wireless HQ. Now devices, we can do two options to add them, and I'm going to show you both. The first is to add the device directly to the network. Now all we need to do for that is go to devices here, click on this add option. We then are presented with this screen. The name is whatever we would like it to be, so we're going to call it router. This is obviously site dependent, so it can be as unique as you like. We then, as we did before when we were logging into our router, we saw that on the barcode of the device there is a MAC address and a password. So all we need to do is type in the password and the MAC address that is on the bottom of the device. And following the MAC address, type the password. And finally, click Add. We can then see that the option there is that the current network contains an SSID. Should the SSID be added to the newly assigned router? Now what that is saying is that the GWN.Cloud site that you've created does have a default SSID configured, which we'll look at in a second, and that can be pushed onto the device. And this is how we're going to do it for now. What it would do is if you had already configured a Wi-Fi network on the router before adding it to the cloud, it'll just overwrite that. Now that we've done that, we can see that the 7052 has been added to the network, and in a few minutes time, once it's found the internet and found GWN.Cloud, it will show online. So the next option of adding a device we're going to do is using the inventory option. Now we can see we can access this by going to our organization inventory. We can already see here I've got my home router and the GWN 7052 that I added just recently. Now what we're going to do is we're going to claim device. Now inventory gives us the option as an MSP or a managed service provider to pre-stage our devices. So what that means is we can purchase the devices and add them to our inventory without the need to configure a network site, potentially because we don't know where this is going to be deployed yet. So the same options here, we just need to add the device MAC address and password, and then once this is done, we will show you the next step. Now we can see that the 7801P and the 7660 have been added to the cloud account, but we can see across the side that they are unassigned. Now, let's say we have just set up a job and we have a customer and they are looking for a 7801P and a 7660. What we can do is select the two devices, click assign. Obviously, we're going to use the same network, go wireless HQ, and we're going to add just the names switch and access point. We can now see that they have assigned to the same network that the router is in, and from there we can now start provisioning settings. One final thing to note with managing devices in GWN.Cloud is to do with the switches. So currently in its current version of GWN.Cloud, settings for the switch need to be configured via the local interface. Now, the great thing with GWN.Cloud is that it does provide a simple method of getting access to the local interface. We can simply click on our little tunnel option here, and that would bring us to our local interface, which we would log in with the details as seen on the bottom of the device, and all settings can be pushed through there. Now, this will be changed in future versions of GWN.Cloud, so all settings from router, switch to access point will all be configured in one interface. And that is everything you need to know to add GWN series devices to GWN.Cloud for configuration and management. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Now, if you do have any questions on configuration or product selection, don't hesitate to contact us, sales@gowifi.co.nz, or just head to our website, www.gowifi.co.nz, and reach out. Thank you. Have a good one.